What's up, everybody? Working on that Redcat today. 79 Monte Carlo. Yo, what's up, everybody? Working on the 79 Monte Carlo today from Redcat. Reversing the transmission on it right now. What's up, my peoples? Let's see. We got what's up, everybody? Got any questions? Let me know. Try to answer them to the best of my ability. What's up, everybody? Follow, like. So right now, what I'm doing is, see, this motor used to go in like that. So I had to flip it around like that. So I can fit the servos right here. 3D printed a spacer so I can get the height, stiffness for it. Get a little bit of that weight moved to the back of the car. I do have some servos on order. Just waiting for them to get here. Hopefully change those out, make it really hot. But like I said, I did 3D print that spacer right there. And I got another one here. Once that's in, it holds those two together so they don't open while they're pushing the wheels up and down. Let's see if we can get it working today. Said I had to so what I did here was the shaft was on this side. Once you take that out, I don't know if you can see it in there or not, but there's a real thin piece of plastic that I just cut out. That way I don't get dirt or anything in there. And so this used to go in like that. So now it goes in the opposite way. I have to drill out a hole down here on this side. If you are going to do this, just make sure that you find your center point on that and drill it out. I think I drilled it out to 3/16. Let me check. Yeah, so it's actually it's a quarter inch drill bit. Drill the hole on the other side of that transmission. And then, like I said, I put just a clear piece of plastic, something that's pretty, I would say paper thin maybe. You just don't want to push that bearing out up any more than what it is. So once you drill out your hole on this side, cover the other side with something and just put it back together. So that takes it from being on this side to being on the back side, and now I just flip it around and now the motor's on the back side. So if you are going to do that, like I said, you'll have to reverse your controls on your remote. Just keep that in mind. Once you get that done, just put it back together. And I think we're ready to put everything back together. See if everything works. Hopefully everything goes the right way. On stuff like this, I would recommend not using power tools, just because it is plastic, so there's a chance to strip all that stuff out. So just do it by hand and just be safe. Look at this, since it is plastic, you don't have to be very tight. You just put your cap back on the top for the motor. Make sure everything's good there. Like I said, these being plastic, they're super small screws, so I just grab the tool and hand tight. That's all you need. Don't need anything more than that. All right. So, like I said, motor used to be this way. So now, since I flipped it. Oh, so on the bottom of this car, I did have to trim out a little piece right here on the bridge. Just grab some. I've got some cutters. Got these cutters right here. Pretty nice. Bought them at Harbor Freight. They do the job. Pretty simple. Just kind of do a V-notch on it. Both sides. Boom. That way you can, being that the shaft went from this side to this side now, so you can get it in from the angle that it's supposed to go in. Otherwise, you can't get it in there. So you see, it gives you just enough space to pop it back in. Alright, so once you get it in there, just make sure everything's going to line up right. Nothing's going to hit on top or bottom. Should be good. And then just run your 4 screws back in it. Bought this neat little deal by Dynamite. I don't know where else you could get them. I got them from my local hobby shop. They come with this set of, pretty cool. I bought it for the, fits a Vanquish real nice. You guys have Vanquishes out there. Dynamite. Pretty good construction. Aluminum. It's got a magnet inside to hold your bits. Everything fits inside the deal itself, so self-contained. And you can use any of the 1/4-inch deals on it, so pretty cool. Like I said, it's got a magnet in there. So. Like I said, on some of this stuff, you just want to hand tight because it's plastic. So see if we can get it jumping here in a minute. Go ahead and take your time. If that's what you need, my love will be forever. My heart for you is so I ask myself, should I be strong? So I will have these in. I haven't uploaded them yet, but once I do, I'll add a link to them. They're going to be on Colts 3D. And I'll show you what you have to do on that one here in a second. Alright, so the motor's in. Like I said, now facing the rear towards the car, which that's where we want our weight is in the back. Now then, so you flip it back over. And I think I should have added, or I should have put this back in before I tighten it down. Oh, no, we got enough space. All right. Now this side does have threads in it. So it'll go straight through. So your hole right here is just smooth, so it'll slide in there if you get it just right. Educated woman, dedicated, trying to make me happy, homie. That's a soldier. Bitches wanna hate, homies wanna hate. Fucking let them talk as long as they wanna see. And again, this is a Amazon special with the Dynamite. That magnet just makes it wonderful to hold stuff on there. Just make sure you don't go too far on either side, just enough to sink it down in there and it doesn't come out the other side. Make sure everything's spinning correctly and not binding anywhere. Okay, so down here, I don't know if you can see that too good, but I kind of messed up a little bit. But when I do put these on the website, I'll have pictures and stuff of what you need to do on that. So what you want to do is you want to take your center from center to center and then find your center point here. And then if you have like a color pencil, a white color pencil or something that'll come off pretty easy, just draw yourself a line, straight line in between both of them, and then find your center point. And then once you have your 3D printed adapter here, this one inside, once you have that, find the center of it as well. And then find your center here. And make sure you center it, because as you can tell, what I did on mine is I went off center on this side and I have more space on this side. So it still worked out for me, but you know, just keep in mind that you are limited on space on both sides, so just be careful. Don't do what I did. So what you want to do is, like I said, you go center to center on the outside ones. Find your line, find your center point, and then you're going to offset off of that center line up 2 millimeters. And that's where you're going to draw your next line, and then find the center line, and then measure either from the center of that line to the outside to this, and you'll have to measure it with the mount. I can't remember what the measurement was right off the top of my head, but I'll show you right now how to do that. I'll probably show you on this one. So what I usually do is, like for instance, this one, you got different holes here. So what I do is I'll get my caliper, or we can do it with a ruler too. I got a small ruler. You can get one of these at I think I got it at Hobby Lobby, if I'm not mistaken. Worked pretty good. So you just find your center to center hole, and then whatever half of that is, that would be your center point. So you want to go from the center out to whatever that is right there. So from your center out, that's where you're going to measure. From your center out this way, you're going to measure again, and that's where you're going to drill your holes. Like I said, you have to be 2 millimeters from the original 2 screws, center line or mark line across, 2 millimeters offset to make it work. You might be able to get away with doing it straight across. I didn't try it. I just off-centered it a little bit just to make it easier for me, but it's whatever you want to do. So like I said, you drill those out. I did countersink mine just because I didn't want it to catch on anything, but you don't have to if you don't want to. Or you can use the I have the button head screws. I didn't have any of the countersunk screws, so I just used button heads and countersunk it in. Once you get those drilled out, I used a, let me see. So right now what size they were. All the descriptions and stuff will be on Codes 3D once I upload it, but So I used a 10 millimeter long screw from the bottom up for that, and then from the top down, since I do have this spacer here as well, and I wanted it to not be wobbly or whatnot, so I did use a longer screw, which is this right here, and this one you're looking at a 20 millimeter. So the base itself, I think I'm going to change it on the settings a little bit to make it just a little bit taller, because the servos do rest on these steering deals, which it doesn't hurt anything, it doesn't bother anything, but I just want to get it off of there. So I'll probably just raise this up like maybe 2 or 3 mils and see if it works. See if it works better. That way it's not resting on these. So like I said, on the top side, I use a 20 mil long screw. And if you don't have a set of these pliers, get you one. It has for either the button head or the other ones, and then it has for the countersunk screws as well. That comes in handy when you're trying to figure out like how long you want to screw or how long you need it. That comes in handy. And then also has the size of the hole, what size the hole is. So that makes it pretty handy, you know what I mean? And you get the added benefit of, you know, all the rest of the tools and stuff and whatnot. If you got your metal balls here for these, you can push them in with those and whatnot, not struggle with them, but they're pretty handy. So now, just make sure those are out of the way. So what I did do to the servos, this is original. This is the one that goes down here, which it would be like that. And then this one goes on there as well, but of course we took it off because we don't need it anymore. So let's see. It goes in like that. You set it back in there. So, but you don't need that. And I didn't want to cut this just in case, you know, one day I want to put it back to original. I didn't want to cut this, so that's why I kind of designed this and 3D printed it to go over the top. That way when you're going up and down, these don't spread out. That's the function of that. So let's go ahead and put this on, see how it works, see how it fits. So these are 20 mil long. And you can drill these out if you want to, these holes, so your screw goes straight through. I didn't want to do that, but I mean, you can if you want to. Like I said, I didn't want to because if one day I want to put it back to stock, they'll still work. So just make sure that you look at the bottom of it. Once you see that screw poke out just the hair, set it on there and start screwing it down. Thank y'all for joining in. Hit that like button, subscribe, follow. I do follow back. After my lives are over, I go through it and make sure I follow everybody that followed me. So if you want to join the channel, said, it is a pain to do it by hand, especially on these long ones. But once they get tight, you can feel it with the hand. If you do it with electric screwdrivers or power tools, there's a chance of stripping those out. And like I said, it is plastic, so you want to do that. All right, so those are in. Like I said, and then just that. So this one does have a flat edge on the bottom, and it's got round edges on top. So the flat side goes towards the back of that. And the screws that I use for that are, let's see here, those are 8mm. So you get your bottom line there. So 8mm long. That's what I use for all four. And I did put all four of them just to give it a little bit more strength. But you can put just one on either side. But like I said, I went ahead and did four just to give it a little bit more strength. And on this one, before you put it on there, just go ahead and make sure run a screw through it, just so it doesn't give you any problems where you're trying to put it on. That way it already has the threads inside and whatnot. The holes are a little bit smaller than the screw is, so that they can take a thread. So they are. I printed mine out of PLA, so they're not going to be out in the heat or anything. So PLA should work okay. If you are having problems with it warping because of heat or anything like that, I'd probably print them out of PTG or something like that. ABS maybe. All right, and then when I already set the servos up earlier, so I was just putting everything back together the way it's supposed to. You will have to unplug them and make sure that you're on the correct channel for either the left or the right. And then what you want to do is you want to make sure that you're off the ground. Let me measure this and I'll tell you exactly how much. This was just perfect. It's one of those tap and die out of a it's a die out of a tap and die set. Let's see here. This is 6.32 mils. So that was just, oh man. And I just saw this, guys. So you don't want to do this. So I'll have to take that motor back apart here in a little bit. And hopefully I can do it with the servo still on. I dropped the gear out of that. So what you want to do here is, like I said, put this underneath the car just to lift it up just a little bit so that your frame isn't laying completely on the ground. And then what you want to do is make sure that both of your servo horns are facing down. See? So now I can tell, I'll show you guys how this tire is off the ground and this one isn't. It's touching. So now I know that I need to push this out just a little bit more. All right. So there we go. Like I said, before I set all this up, I did I did zero the servos out where I centered them, so they are halfway and halfway. So they're at 0 point. And like I said, what you want to do is you want to make sure that your servo horns are pointing down. They're gonna kind of be outwards a little bit, but just to the bottom. You don't want to do them to the top like they were, like that. So I don't know if you can see that. Let me zoom for you a little bit. So you want them to be facing down like this one, not up like this one. So, all right. So now that I know that I'm 6 mils off of the frame from the bottom, my tires didn't move at all. So now when I pick that up, it should be laying on the wheels itself. So So we'll put the screw back in the servo horns. All right. Like I said, I just saw this. Left the gear out of the transmission, so I'm gonna have to open it back up and put that back in there. But we can try and see if it'll go up and down now. So I do use these Gens Ace 2S batteries. If you are going to use LiPo batteries, make sure and you move your resistor here from nickel metal batteries to over to LiPo batteries. So something I did back here, like I said, to add the battery, I did cut out the edges here, around here, for the back of the car on both sides. So I didn't take too much out. I kind of put the battery there and marked it around with the silver Sharpie. Now they fit perfect. Now on mine, since they do have this extra cable here, I didn't want it to break or anything, so I did notch the corner of that a little bit just to make it to where it wasn't going to be kinked or anything like that. So I'll throw the battery in there and try it out. So to fit those batteries, I did make an adapter for it. I didn't want to cut anything off. Like I said, maybe one day I want to put it back to stock and sell it or something. So I bought these banana clips and XT60 plugs and just soldered them together and made my own plug there. Pretty simple. All right, so let's turn this on real quick. Oh, let me zoom out just a little bit. All right, set it over here. All right. Oh crap. Okay, so everything worked. You can tell both sides function. And the reason that I say to turn these out is instead of them having a push this way, they're pushing down. They're pushing level across here. Otherwise, this would be up here at an angle and lose a little bit of that push or the stroke on it. So that was the reason for putting them upside down. was so that you can see the movement there. Is pushing straight out instead of it being up here at the top and trying to push out. So works a lot better too. So everything seems to work. See if we can get a bounce out of it. Trying to do this one-handed. Get a little bit out of it, but I got to put some different servos on there so make it really bounce. I'll probably change out the springs on it as well. Get the I can't remember what they're called now, but we'll change those out, make it a little bit more bouncier. Because as of right now, it doesn't have much bounce. So, like I said, just make sure before you put these on, before you connect them, make sure these are off. Because if you do decide to turn it on and all of a sudden they're too close to each other and they turn into each other, they can break or burn your servo out. So be careful with that. But as far as that goes, everything's operational. I can't try the backwards and reverse yet because I forgot to put that gear in it, but let's do that real quick. Just unplug it real quick and turn it back down and find that screw. And if you're scared to do this yourself, I'm probably going to start doing them for people. If you want to send me your car. Now, the only thing on that is you would have to pay for the shipping both ways if you want to get it done. I'm not charging very much to do it, so like I said, it's a simple process, but some people just find it intimidating to do it. So but let me put this gear in here and then see if the backwards and I think I already reversed that, but I'm not positive. I don't remember. And these adapters or whatever mounts you want to call them, mine are white, just because that's the filament that I had loaded in the printer. Once I get everything dialed in, I'll probably go ahead and reprint them either in black or a different color, just to kind of match the theme of the car. Okay, so you can pull the motor off of it with the servos already attached. Like I said, this piece up here is to keep the servos from opening up or sideways or whatever. That way it stabilizes them a little bit more. You can also put these flipped the other way with the gear down on the bottom if you use a longer servo horn. If you want to get these out of the way, if you want to put them down here where you can't see them and run them up, you can't do that. I just did mine like this, just for convenience. Alright, so let's go ahead and open this back up and put that gear back in there and make sure everything's good. And I thought I was going to have to, I don't know if you can see how this is recessed right here. I thought I was going to have to do the same on this side, but everything seemed to work okay. Everything, there's no, the drive shaft doesn't rub on it or anything. It's pretty far away from it. So that's kind of why I left it alone. I just center drilled that hole out and went on about my day. Didn't worry about it. Like I said, this will probably be the final design on those mounts to turn that servo over. So I'll probably just go ahead and load them tonight. Load them up to Colt 3D tonight. It should be available by tomorrow. And again, those you can print out whatever color you want. They don't have to be white. And I did do mine. I didn't do a 100% infill. What I did was I just adjusted my infill lines so it's solid. It doesn't have a hollow center. Give it a little bit more meat so it don't break. Because I mean, at the end of the day, you are hopping and jumping these things around, so I'd hate for them to break. And if I can get my Etsy store up and running, I'll leave a link to it in my bio, so you can buy these from there. I'll 3D print some and ship them out to you guys. But like I said, I'm not sure when I'll be able to get that done. But I will have the file on 3D Colts, and this gear can go in either direction. It's the same. So that's what makes this transmission able to reverse by just drilling a hole out. Let me show you that. There is a bearing on this side as well. So if you're going to drill this out, open this up and grab your 1/4 inch drill bit and set it on this side. Oh, actually you can. I forgot. Okay. So the 1/4 inch is just a hair bigger than this hole. But being that you're not drilling out the whole thing, the bearing still stays in there and you can't see it on this side. So it worked out pretty good. So like I said, that's all you have to do on this transmission to reverse it is drill the other side out. But like I said, just make sure that you do put something to cover that up. There's a clear piece of plastic in there that I cut out. You know, I kind of measured the inside of it and I just cut it out with my Cricut machine just to make it, you know, perfectly round. And it fits in there pretty nice. But that way you keep dirt and debris out of it. Just put that back in there. Like I said, the gear fits either way, so you won't have an issue there. And just make sure all your stuff is in there and put it back together. And this shaft don't move because, like I said, there's a bearing holding both sides, so it's centered right in between both of them. Turn the remote off so it quits beeping at me. So I am working on a semi 3D printed trailer in aluminum to put this on. This is going to be a gooseneck trailer. Those files, like I said, once I get finished designing all that stuff, it will be on Cold 3D. You'll need some of the 1/2 inch by 1/2 inch angle iron, and all the holes and stuff will be there. That way you can transfer the hole marks onto the aluminum and drill them out. But I can't show you that yet because, like I said, it's not finished. So, or I haven't finished designing it yet. Alright, so that's back on. Just to make sure everything's working. Let me plug that back in. Alright. Like I said, I don't know if that's going the correct way yet or not. So we'll put it back on and try it out, make sure it's going the correct rotation. But I was hoping that I could take that off with the servos being in there, and yeah, I can. So you can if you know you gotta work on that or repair something on it. This is my first lowrider, so hope to get it, fully upgraded and make it hop for reals. As of right now, with these stock servos, it really doesn't do much. But at least now, like I said, I got some of that weight off of the front of the car to where it might jump just a little bit, especially with these LiPo batteries. They're a little bit better than having a nickel metal battery on there. Just make sure all your screws are straight, tighten down. And here, after a while, I may desolder these and either turn them down or turn them up. I'll probably turn them down so I get a little bit better wire management there. And I'm probably going to curl these up so that they're not all messy and whatnot. And I'll probably just leave these alone. Decide to mess with any of that stuff. They're still laying in the same spot. Now, I did remove the battery tray that comes in here. And cut out the backside of the car to put the battery back there. Like I said, get a little bit of the weight back here in the back and let it hop a little better. So now, like I said, this is solid. It's not going anywhere. When I first designed the bottom one, these were splitting right here in the center, and they were flexing, so I wasn't getting the full up and down motion. And then, like I said, I did have the servo horns facing up, so facing them down helped a little bit, angle wise and lengthwise, to push this up and down, so I did do that. Like I said, adding that piece just stabilized everything, and it doesn't doesn't bother anything anymore. It goes up and down. Before, if I would do that, it would split these open and you know, just kind of stress everything out. But now everything seems to be working fine. Oh, appreciate that. Appreciate that. Let's see who's that. The professor. The professor. Appreciate that, man. If you guys have any questions, let me know. Let me get some of this stuff out of the way real quick so I can put the body on it. And so I did add lights to mine. They do sell a kit for it, but you know, I'm a cheapo and I prefer making my own stuff. So I did make my own lights. And I'll show you that here in a second. Let me get some of this stuff put up. Like I said, if you guys can get these, the dynamites, they're awesome. I love them, especially for the Vanquish. The Vanquish product cars, they have the standard size, and these will fit both the standard and metric size stuff. So that's a plus. And again, being that it is the 1/4 inch drive, anything that's 1/4 inch drive, it'll go in there, and it's got a magnet inside of this, so it really holds the bits in there. Put some of this up. Like I said, get you a pair of these, guys. They're flush cutters. I bought them at Harbor Freight. I think they were like $7 or $8 for a pair. But they are worth it. They do have some different ones that I bought first. They got a red handle on them. But get these, the black ones. I don't remember the brand on them. But if you can get these instead. They are better. They're a little bit better quality. I also picked these up. It's like a needle nose plier type, and man, you can really pick stuff up with these. They're amazing. So like if you're trying to get a screw or something, they hold it in place real nice. They're smooth on the inside, so no matter where you set that screw at and clamp down on it, it'll stay. And they're super fine, so like you can pick up super small stuff with it. They're cool. Like I said, these also at Harbor Freight. So all right, so let me grab the body real quick. Oh, you know what? Let me set the battery in here. So on the battery, guys, like I said, like what I did was I cut out a piece of this plastic going both inwards towards the center of the car and downwards. Oh, let me get that right. So like I said, I did come inward and then down so that the battery sits on the inside plastic. That inside plastic I did not cut. Just a corner out of this piece right here. And like I said, I did cut it on both sides, and then I notched this out because I run the Gens Ace batteries, and they have this little the pigtail for it. So now it'll slide right in there without hurting that pigtail any at all. And then my strap, I cut a hole up here at the top. You can't really see it though. So I just notched it out here, ran it up underneath, and then I notched it out in here on the inside of it, not on the top, but on the inside. And it seems to work. It worked for me, so like I said, I'll set it in there, and then the corner of that, like I said, doesn't mess with that pigtail at all. So you don't have to make a big spot. Just if you do run these batteries on this, just make sure to notch that out so it doesn't tear your wires up. And it is the original strap that was up here at the front. One of them. I only used one. I do have the other one, so it's up to you how you want to do that. But one seems to work pretty good. It doesn't let the battery jump out of there or anything like that. So let's take it for a test drive, and we'll worry about the wires later. Let me grab the body and set it in there. Alright, so on the body, like I said, I did make my own lights and stuff. Just soldered some LEDs with the corresponding. I can't remember what those are called. Diodes, I think, or either diodes or capacitors, something like that. But I made my own, even in the front. White lights. Let me plug them in and I'll show them to you guys. On this receiver, since I don't have another channel, they are connected with constant power, but you can add a switch or something to them. Just if you want to turn them off real quick or whatever. That's where these little dudes come in handy. Is putting small stuff like that. Let me adjust myself here and I'll show you guys. So like I said, these come in real handy if you're trying to plug stuff into your receivers and stuff. Super easy to grab those and push them in just like that with these little $10, $8, whatever they were, pliers from Harbor Freight. Makes life better. Professor, thank you for the roses, man. Appreciate that. Appreciate all you guys. So let me set this down here. This particular body does come with the oh, give me a second. They're trying to cut me off here. Which of these objects is used in hoops? Basketball. All right. I'm not getting kicked off. All right, cool. All right, so they do come. Let me zoom it back out. They do come with these little metal tabs on them already, and magnets inside of the plastic covering here for the rear, and one for the front, and then there's the little metal plate for it. So it doesn't have any body clips. It just you have to kind of get it right, and it just falls in place pretty much. So there she is. Oh, you know what? I forgot the drive shaft. Set that down, and I'll get you guys back. Give me 1 second. I forgot the drive shaft. All right. So, like I said, let's put that back on right quick. All right, so let's screw that in there. Like I said, this one is pretty hard, so I do use a handle for it. But some of these hand tight are perfect. Just make sure you do line that up before you put it on, and it should go straight through that hole. Perfect. And then you I don't know if you can tell the angle of that or not, right there, but you want to sink it down past the top a little bit so it's sunk into the hole, but you don't want to go so much that it comes out of the other side. And that's perfect right there. So, all right, flip it back over. All right, let me get you a little bit further away. All right, like I said, you can tell I've got, now on this one, I didn't see a point in adding lights to the center ones, even though they look like they're illuminated a little bit. It's just the light coming off the other side. But on these cars, that is a reverse light, so I didn't really want to have a reverse light on all the time. But I do have all three of my lights here, and for some reason on camera they look orange, but they are red. And then the front, of course, the headlights and side markers. The only thing I don't like is that I can't turn them on and off with the radio and receiver that I have now. But let's put you guys back up here. We'll test it. We'll test it right here on the table real quick. See what it does. All right. Perfect. Oh, let me try. Let me test the direction of that. Maybe I have to reverse it. Oh, perfect. All right. So being that I did reverse the transmission, you do have to reverse your servo direction, or not your servo direction. I'm sorry, the channel. You do have to reverse the channel in order for it to go back to forward and reverse on your control. So, but everything seems to work just fine. Steering, everything, like I said, works perfect. So no issues, no binding, no up and down. Everything still functions. It does hop a little better. Before I couldn't even get it to do that. So now that I've pushed most of that weight back towards the back, it does give you a little bit hopping action, but I am ordering the servos for it, or I did order the servos for it. I should be getting them sometime this week. So as soon as we get those, we will be adding them to it. So that way we can make this thing really, really hot and get it going. It does look a little bit on the dirty side. You can see all the fingerprints and stuff there. But we'll get it cleaned up and get it ready for whatever comes. Maybe a car show, maybe just a cruise. So now let me get this one's basically done. Like I said, until I get those servos. So any of the cable management I'm not gonna do right now. I'm gonna wait till I get those servos because I don't know how long the wiring is on those, or if I'm gonna have to extend it. So I'll just wait on doing all that wiring. There's no point in me tying everything up right now, and I have to recut and whatnot. So we'll just wait till we get those. But like I said, at least now I can take it out and it'll hot. Do what I want it to do. But for now, like I said, we're done with it. So if you got any questions on that, let me know. more than happy to help you guys with anything you have. Like I said, that feature of the body itself and having the magnet mounts makes it so much better, so much easier to put these on, take them off. And if you lift it from the body on the front, it's super easy to come off. I'm sorry. So if you do it from the corner of the front, it's super easy to pull those off. And then you just kind of pick it up and then raise your rear. But like I said, that's super simple to do on these. I like the way that they set these bodies up. But let me grab the next one. On the next one, I'm really not working on it anymore. I'm kind of designing some stuff for it to 3D print. But it is my optic. Grab a microfiber cloth here and give it a little wipe down. I do live in Texas, so there is a bunch of dirt and dust everywhere. So on this one, I did get a Reef's Raw 500 for the steering servo. And on this one, I do have a Radio Master. I think it's a MX12, I believe. Radio. And man, I love that thing. It connects to any receiver. You got let me grab it real quick so I can show it to you guys. All right, so I grabbed it, but let me just go over this build real quick. So I did do a raw carbon fiber look. This is a wrap. It's not painted. It's just a car wrap. I ordered that from Amazon and just wrapped it. Took off the panels, wrapped them, and man, it came out good. I like the way it looks. With that red carbon fiber on there, and I like it. And then I bought this off of Cold 3D. Somebody designed this back piece here, and sanded it down, painted it. Gave the wrap a surface to stick to, because just sanding it down or leaving the filament, it won't stick to it. So you do have to sand it down a little and paint it. I just painted it. I believe I painted it black. I primered it and then painted it just so the wrap could stick to it. But I think it came out perfect. Good. I like the way it looks. I like the way I set it up. I do have the Bilstein, the RC 4-wheel drive Bilstein shocks on there. We got some. Oh, what are these? Vanquish wheels, and it does have the brass ring on all four tires. The Vanquish brass rings for the 1.9 wheels. I got some Reef's Cheater 1.9 Cheater tires. They do pretty good. I like the compound. They're great for crawling up smooth rock. They really do grip. Dirt, not so much, but it is a grippy compound. It is a grippy tire. Pretty good tires. Let's see what else. I did add a light kit to this to the front. I can't remember where I bought that from. I bought it almost when these were released. I don't remember where I bought that from. Um, like I said, I do have a Reefs Raw 500 servo in it with a, you can kind of see it there, Hobby Wing Fusion Pro, the 2-in-1. I think those things are awesome. To me, that's one of the best combos for anything crawler. Just that or the SE. The SE is pretty similar. It's just it doesn't have one function that this one has, but you can do without for a little bit less. But I just like the way it looks there, so I just bought the Pro. As for the radiator usually goes down in here on the bottom, but I 3D printed these little side brackets here. Just added the radiator up top, and I 3D printed these and the inside fans. The original ones are black. I think I have them here. Let me. So this is the original fan. So kind of black and black didn't really, you couldn't really notice it. So I 3D printed some out of red PLA. And on the gas tank, I don't know if you guys can tell, I did remove all the little plastic screws that were there, and I added actual screws to it, so it looks more. Let me see if I can zoom in a little better on that. So it looks a little bit more realistic. I've still got a couple things to do to this. I did use the what is that? Spastics, I think, chrome paint, but it really didn't come out chrome. I don't know why. I may have messed it up. I'm not sure, but oh well. It still came out pretty good. And I think I'm gonna wrap the tank itself. I may paint the sides of it just so I can use the same wrap, but I'm not sure. Let me know what you guys think on that. And then I also 3D printed this mesh in here. Let's see if I can get some light in there for you guys. So it's a mesh that goes all the way across on the inside, and it holds. I don't know if you guys can see it down there, but it holds the power button for the Fusion Pro. I thought that was pretty cool. Whoever designed that did a good job on that. So this one, I do have the battery in there. I use one of these shorty packs, the Adventure something. It is a 3S battery. It is pretty heavy. So when the truck doesn't have the battery in it, it wants to kind of, you can probably see it there where it's off to one side. Because I've added the same amount that the battery weighs, I've added weights into the other door. But I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to have two batteries in there that weigh the same. And that way it'll kind of counteract that sagginess. Like, so if the battery was in there, it'd be straight. But without the battery in there, it kind of sags to one side. So I had just added some weight to the other door until I get another battery for it. So that'll be double the runtime. As far as anything else, there's really nothing else done to it. Pretty much stock. Drive shafts, I did do the incision drive shafts on it. Those things are awesome. I've been running them for a couple years, and to this day I haven't broken one. So I've had pretty good luck with it, with those drive shafts. Like I said, there's the the Reefs Raw 500. And that's pretty much on this one. That's pretty much it. Let me put it away and we'll get to the Radio Master. Pretty simple to... Oh, I didn't show you guys that. The way they design these, it's pretty cool. It's got a lock back there on the back side of this, on the battery tray. You just put it in there, slide it back, and up at the front, it holds in with a pin. You put the pin in there, and you're done. I thought that was a pretty cool idea. So, all right. Is there anything else you want to know on this one? Let me know. Like I said, this color is a raw carbon red. It is a wrap. I did buy it on Amazon. It's pretty simple. If you are going to use this stuff, make sure you have a heat gun. It really does work well, or it works better if you have a heat gun. You can form it and make it comply with what you want it to do. If you are going with the wrap, one thing that I can tell you is make sure that, I don't know if you can see it or not, but on any screw hole, as soon as you get to it, you can't tighten it anymore because you can twist the wrap. It works a lot better on these, like these that are countersunk a little bit. You can't really tell that swirl mark is there because it's kind of sunk down in there. But on anything that's on the outside, you can kind of see a little bit of a. Let's see if I can get it here for you. No, I can't. I don't know if you guys can see that or not, but there's kind of a swirl mark on all of these top holes because it's flat, and so when the screw gets to it, you can just turn it just a little bit just to get it a little bit tight. But like I said, as far as that goes, it's pretty much stock, other than the drive shaft, the Incision drive shafts, Hobby Wing 2-in-1, Fusion Pro, and the Reefs Raw 500, and the Bilsteins. So that's it on that one. Oh, and like I said, oh crap! Like I said, the mount for these, pretty simple. I want to say I got them off of I believe Colts 3D. I'm not positive. I don't remember. But they're super easy to find. Just get them and print them out. I kind of used a different size screw. I put one big screw at the top and then two smaller ones at the bottom. I just kind of thought that looked a little bit better than having three of the same big ones down or three of the same small ones down. I did a big one and then two smaller ones. Those are the two smaller ones are chrome or chrome plated. That's about it. And then, like I said, these little screws here. Pretty awesome. Crawls pretty good. All right, so let me get my Radio Master. So this is a Radio Master. And at first, I honestly wanted to return it. And I'll tell you what. So I couldn't figure out how to make it work until I just started messing with it, YouTube videos and whatnot. And so it comes with different adapters for this bottom piece. It has a one that has a joystick type screw, or not a screw. I mean a button. Uh, I can't remember what else. I think it's a button, but I'm not positive. And then it has this one that has these two little switches. Um, and it's it's an awesome remote. Like I said, uh, now that I've messed with it, now that I know how to program it, um, I do have most of my crawlers attached to this, and you only need one radio for as many. I don't know what the limit is on this remote, but with this one radio, I can control my Vanquish, any of my Traxxas, receivers, any of the Futabas, any receiver. There's a list of receivers that this radio will work for. There's a most of the ones that I use now. I either get the either 6, 8, or 10 channel receivers. Just because on some of my other cars, like the TRX4, that one I have I believe it's a 6 channel or 7 channel or 8 channel. Because I do have the lights on it, so I can control my lights with it. And the cool thing about this radio is that here I'll show you. And I've reset this radio because I updated it not too long ago, so I think I may have only 1 or 2 cars on here, which I need to add some more of them. Oh, here we go. Yeah, so I have the Optic and one of my TRX4s, which is the 79 Chevy, the Hydro Edition, to this remote. Like I said, it doesn't matter which one you click. Select vehicle. And so now you can page over and it'll show you all of your parameters and whatnot if you have them on the car. Again, these are all. I'm using 5 channels on I think it's a 6 channel then on that TRX4. Of course, you have your steering and your throttle, and then on this one I have the 2-speed transmission on it. Which with this remote I'm able to achieve neutral with it. It'll disengage from both sides just enough to make it go into. I say neutral, but it'll disengage the gears from both sides. And then of course I got my front axle and then my rear axle, independent of the Traxxas one. The Traxxas remote, if I remember correctly, once you flip your switch, your front axle locks first, and then you go forward again, and it locks the rear, which I don't like that. I prefer my rear axle to be locked first, so I still keep my steering angles on the front axle. So with this remote, what I did was I put both of my switches down here for both of my axles. So I got my front axle and my rear axle, so I can turn them on and off independently, unlike the original Traxxas remote, where you have one switch to control both of them. Like I said, the front and rear axle, and then this one has this switch down here, which is a 3-position, which that would make it 1, middle, 2, and then back, which that's my transmission. So the further in position, this way is my first gear, and then like I said, if I go to the center, it puts it in neutral. It doesn't engage either first or second. It just spins the motor, and then I go to my second gear, which that's awesome. And then this thing has so many other buttons that is just amazing. Like I said, at first it was kind of one of those things that you're intimidated by, and once you figure out that it's so simple to use, it's just awesome. So like I said, I've got two channels here, one channel here, and then I've got my two dials. For whatever you want to use them for. I have this one on one of my other ones for the winch on it. And then on a different one, I have a winch and I have a front winch and a rear winch. Which the rear winch is going to be integrated into the trailer that I'm building to be able to control the winch on the trailer. So that's what that rear one's going to be used for. And then it's got a momentary switch, which it's a button, which I think that's pretty cool. It's just an on and off switch. You can either you can change the settings on that one. You can push it once to engage it, or you can change it to where you have to hold it in order for it to be on. So that's pretty awesome on that one. Like I said, you could use it as an on and off switch, or you could use it as a momentary switch. And then, of course, you've got your other channel here. That one is just a button as well. It's kind of like this one. You can change it from a on and off switch to a momentary switch, which if you hold it, it's on, and then if you release, it's off. Or you can push it and hold, just push it one time and it's on, and push it again and it's off. But you can change that in the settings. And like I said, that to me is awesome because I have so many different vehicles that do different things. And I'm wondering if some way somehow I can make this remote work for the Lowrider. Because you can set this switch and this switch to run the same channel. So I'm wondering if I can like put these two to where if I flip it on, it'll raise the car up, from the front, and then this one I can use as my to hop it. But like I said, I'm still, or even this one, like a boom, 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 the way you're supposed to do it on the remote. So I'm gonna play with it a little bit and see if I can achieve that. And if I can, like I said, I can use this one and this one to make it hop make it go up both rear and front servos at the same time. So hopefully I can do that. And hopefully I can, like I said, put either make my rear end, both sides lift up with one switch, and then this one I can maybe do like a 3-wheel setup or something like that. But we'll figure that out. Like I said, I barely started using this not too long ago. So I'm still not too familiar with it, but I'm familiar enough with it to where, like I said, I got most of my 4-wheel drive cars on here, and they either have they all have different options. My SEX10 Gladiator had the dig and 2-speed transmission on it. I did add the 2-speed transmission to that Gladiator. On that one, it's super simple. If you guys do have a Gladiator and you want to add the 2-speed to it, it's super simple. You do have to take the transmission apart. So if that kind of, like I said, if you're intimidated by that, I'm pretty sure, one of your local hobby shops or one of the other RC guys, they'll probably do it for you. They might want to charge you, but anybody local to me, I usually don't charge them for that kind of stuff. Especially if they're new to the hobby, you don't want to treat anybody with or I guess you should say you don't want to scare them away from the hobby. So some of the work that I do for them, it's kind of it's free. Uh, but like I said, if you want me to do some of your stuff, you do have to pay for the shipping. Full round to ship it to me and then ship it back to you. So, but I don't charge for most of any of the small labor stuff. So I do that for you guys. Um, but like I said, this remote here, even though there is some good ones out there, I know like Futaba, they make their eight channel, and I believe they make a 10 channel as well. Uh, for the price, I would buy a Radio Master all day. Um, I've been doing RC for a couple years now, and I can honestly say that, uh, like I said, Futaba is one of the top ones. Uh, you know, Fly Sky being up there. Who else? Spectrum. All those. They all make pretty good radios. But this one, by far, the range on it is phenomenal. Um, that there's is the antenna for it. Um, the reason why they made it to be able to turn like that is you can use this radio for like the drones and stuff that the signal gets uh, reversed or something. I don't remember exactly, but so you do have to turn that a certain direction or to get more range or whatever. Um, and then up here, you can pull this little tab out, and it has an adapter for like your I can't remember what those are called, but it's for the drones. I'll remember here in a second. But it's for the drones, and so you can essentially transmit and receive from this radio to, like, say for instance your VR goggles and stuff like that. There is some plugs and whatnot. And then one other thing that I like about this radio is if you're right-handed or left-handed, you can take this whole piece off right here. It's got two little screws there, and then you take these two screws out and swap it to the other side. So you can have your controls on this side, if that's what you want to do. But the only thing that I do not like about that is that you do lose the practicality of this button down here, which this one on the trigger itself. You do use the functionality of that because you're either going to have your hand on the trigger or on that button. That's the only thing that you'll lose on that one. But like I said, you can move this plate, take those two screws out, and then switch them to this side and switch all your controls and stuff to the other side. And again, the only thing you would lose on that is this channel here, and you don't lose it. It's just it's once you hold it in this hand, in your right hand, it's such an awkward place for you to go back and try to press it. But I'm pretty sure that in time or practice or whatever, you can get away with it. But other than that, like I said, this one here for the price, and then the added benefit of being able to connect to a vast variety of different receivers, is awesome. So like I said, I do recommend this Radio Master, for $100 or $150, I think. 150 or 200 bucks beats the Futaba price of 600 to 800 bucks. So it is a good radio. And I believe I told you guys it was an MX12. I stand corrected. It is a MT12. So, but like I said, it is a good radio. I like it. At first, I was a little pushed away from it because it is a process to get all your channels working on some receivers. But it's pretty simple. Uh, let me see here. So, oh, so right here, of course, you have your screen. So here, this is the screen I wanted to be at. So again, you have your steering. And you can see your changes on the screen. Again, that's throttle, and then you've got for the TRX4 Nitro. It is this one. So right there, I would be in second gear or high gear, and then I would be in first gear there, and then essentially neutral, if that's what you want to call it. So first gear, low gear, middle would be your neutral, and then high gear or second gear, and then both of these down here. Uh, so this one, that one that just changed, that one is for my rear differential, the locking differential on the TRX4, and then of course I've got my front locking differential, and that is a plus. Having them individual like that, because like I said, sometimes you need to have them locked, but just locking your rear is enough for you, and you don't lose some of that steering angle to the front axle being locked, or your turn radius, and then you don't get that bouncing shutter, when your front axle's locked. And then, like I said, once you wanna lock your front axle, you go ahead and lock it, and you've got a little bit more pulling power or whatnot, or if you're going more in a straight line and not doing drastic uh, tire changes or steering changes. Um, so like I said, that's a to me that's my benefit of doing that individual uh, locking servo or locking differentials on those TRX4s, versus having the one switch on the original one. Which I think I have it here. So this is the original Traxxas one. I did 3D print this thumb steer. And so, like I said, this here to the back is both differentials unlocked. And then what I don't like about that is that once you go forward, it only locks your front differential, or it locks your front differential first. And then once you go all the way to the front, both of them are locked. Which to me, they should have done it backwards. Which you can go in there, and I think I did on this one. Let me see. Yeah, so I have the Bluetooth module. So I changed that to where the first click is actually the rear, and then the second click is your front. But to me, I think that's something that should have been done from factory, is being able to lock your rear wheels first, and then your front axle. But that's just me. Um, Everybody's different. Everybody decides to do something different. And then on this one, of course, you've got your 2-speed here. But if you do want these, they are online somewhere, or on Colts 3D somewhere, I believe. But they are a little bit shorter. This one here, um, I kind of designed myself over the original one. I did take some of the measurements out of it. I do not print these. I do not sell these. Like I said, this is not my design. But for my sake, or for my own use, I did change it a little bit. I extended the handle here, for the thumb steer. Like I said, the original one, I think it's like right here somewhere. So you're kind of stretching your thumb out a little bit more, but with it extended out a little bit more, you get a little bit better distance, and you get your full steer both ways. Especially with people like me with short fingers. You kind of want that. Um, but like I said, that is one thing that if you don't get your Bluetooth module to be able to change any of your settings on these, um, it's automatic front axle lock first, and then your rear axle lock second. Which, like I said, that to me, it should have been your rear first from factory, and then your front one. That way, if you don't need both of them on, you still get you don't get that wheel hop when you're turning, um, and you can leave your rear axle locked all the time. But again, that's what I like about having them independent. Sometimes you need to get over something, but you don't want one of your wheels to spin or whatever, and so you turn your front one on, or you just want your rear axle on just for the added grip or whatever. You turn your rear on. But that's that. Um, that's all I have for today. Like I said, if you guys have any questions, let me know. Like, subscribe, all that good stuff. And we'll see you on the next one.